Gourmet Guitars, the best luthiers DVD series. From guitar enthusiasts for guitar enthusiasts.
Joni Mitchell came here and wrote a song about it that starts, I went to Staten Island, Sharon, to buy myself a mandolin. We started this company in 1971, which seems like just yesterday, but at this point it was 33 years ago. We have 11 rooms, we have 1,000 instruments, and when a person walks in the front door, they're told that there are 2 rules. The first rule is that you can play every single instrument in the entire place, and the second rule is that you can ask up to 1 million questions.
I wish I could save you from yourself, jump inside your head, take you by the wheel. In all the conversations we've always said, there ain't no one to blame, all turns out the same.
Mandolin Brothers is located in New York City, except that it's not in Manhattan, which is everybody's concept of New York City. It's located in Staten Island, which is one of the 5 boroughs that comprises this big city. It is the most suburban of the 5 boroughs. It's a borough made up of mostly parks and single-family homes, and it's really not much different from the town that you live in.
Everything else go, hold you in my heart. Let everything else go.
I like to tell people that I believe we have created an environment where there's no tension in the air whatsoever. There's just you and 1,000 extremely nice instruments, and go have fun.
And then you learn to write. Then they leave you in the middle between the black and the white.
People come to us constantly asking us to critique their instruments. We expect perfection. We don't expect anything less than perfection. We're really a tough audience. And someone who's taken a course in luthiery from a luthiery school and then builds his or her first or second or third instrument may or may not show the potential that a builder must show in order to be world-class and develop a world reputation. If there's any flaw at all, that's too many flaws.
Born into the living without a clue. All is everyone's opinion on how to make it through.
In 1972, the phone rang in the studio, and it was someone calling from Long Island. And he said, "Hi, I want to introduce myself. I'm John Monteleone, and I'm looking for a job as a repair person." And I said, "Well, what have you done?" And he said, "Well, I've built a couple of guitars, and I'd love to show you what I've done." And John's 17-inch jumbo just totally knocked me out. I didn't, as they say in the movies, I never knew it could be that way. And that's what his guitar was like. I still have pictures of his guitar leaning against a tree in my backyard where I was living, and we were all gathered around talking and having a great time meeting this person, who at the time was a teacher in Long Island in the BOCES program in public schools. And we told him that we only had 2 words for him, and that was "you're hired." We knew from the moment we saw his work that he was a genius. But he's always been at the front. He's always been at the avant-garde, just like James D'Acquisto, and just like in his time John D'Angelico.
So many choices you got to take. Oh, there's so many damn decisions you got to make.
Something that I was once told impressed me, and that is that there was a person about 15 years ago who bought a Stradivarius violin, and I think at that time it was $1.5 million. And he took out a mortgage on this violin, and he realized that by the time he was done paying off that mortgage, first of all, the money that he was using to pay that mortgage would always become less and less valuable money because inflation makes money worth less. And so with a house or with a Stradivarius, the money you pay it off with becomes easier and easier to obtain. And that when he was done paying for it, it would be worth twice, 2.5 times what he paid for it. And he was right, and it shocked me that someone would commit to 1.5 million when in our little infant industry, everything that people think is high isn't enough to really buy a concert violinist a good bow, right? Like, you know, we're talking about $24,000 John Monteleones. It would be tough to get an orchestral bow that you could use in a real serious orchestra for that kind of money. So the bow, and not the violin. So look at the big picture and say to yourself, if I have to borrow the money, I'll borrow the money, but at least I'll get to own it. That's the prize, that you get to own it.
I've always said, there ain't no one to blame, all turns out the same. Truth is, I can't even help myself. There's a constant ball and chain wrapped around my feet. What I'm feeling now, you just can't know. I wanna hold you in my heart, let everything else go. Hold you in my heart, let everything else go. Born into the living without a clue. Oh, is everyone's opinion on how to make it through?
Gourmet Guitars, the best luthiers DVD series. From guitar enthusiasts for guitar enthusiasts.